Hadith 1. Narrated Talha bin Ubaidullah, a Bedouin with unkempt hair came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Inform me what Allah has made compulsory for me as regards the prayers. He replied, you have to offer perfectly the 5 compulsory prayers in a day and night, 24 hours, unless you want to pray nawafil. The Bedouin further asked, inform me what Allah has made compulsory for me as regards fasting. He replied, you have to fast during the whole month of Ramadan, unless you want to fast more as nawafil. The Bedouin further asked, tell me how much zakat Allah has enjoined on me. Thus, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, informed him about all the rules, that is, fundamentals, of Islam. The Bedouin then said, by him who has honored you, I will neither perform any nawafil, nor will I decrease what Allah has enjoined on me. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if he is saying the truth, he will succeed, or he will be granted paradise. Hadith 2. Narrated Ibn Umar, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, observed the fast on the 10th of Muharram, Ashura, and ordered Muslims to fast on that day, but when the fasting of the month of Ramadan was prescribed, the fasting of the Ashura was abandoned. Abdullāh did not use to fast on that day, unless it coincided with his routine fasting by chance. Hadith 3. Narrated Aisha, the tribe of Quraysh used to fast on the day of Ashura in the pre-Islamic period, and then Allah's Apostle ordered Muslims to fast on it, till the fasting in the month of Ramadan was prescribed, whereupon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, he who wants to fast, on Ashura, may fast, and he who does not want to fast may not fast. Hadith 4. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, fasting is a shield, or a screen or a shelter. So, the person observing fasting should avoid sexual relation with his wife and should not behave foolishly and impudently, and if somebody fights with him or abuses him, he should tell him twice, I am fasting. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, added, by him in whose hands my soul is, the smell coming out from the mouth of a fasting person is better in the sight of Allah than the smell of musk. Allah says about the fasting person, he has left his food, drink and desires for my sake. The fast is for me. So I will reward the fasting person for it, and the reward of good deeds is multiplied 10 times. Hadith 5. Narrated Abu Wa'il from Hudayfah, Umar asked the people, who remembers the narration of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, about the affliction? Hudayfah said, I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, the affliction of a person in his property, family and neighbors is expiated by his prayers, fasting, and giving in charity. Umar said, I do not ask about that, but I ask about those afflictions which will spread like the waves of the sea. Hudayfah replied, there is a closed gate in front of those afflictions. Umar asked, will that gate be opened or broken? He replied, it will be broken. Umar said, then the gate will not be closed again till the day of resurrection. We said to Masruq, would you ask Hudayfah whether Umar knew what that gate symbolized? He asked him, and he replied, he, Umar, knew it as one knows that there will be night before tomorrow morning. Hadith 6. Narrated Sahih, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is a gate in paradise called Ar-Raiyan, and those who observe fasts will enter through it on the day of resurrection, and none except them will enter through it. It will be said, where are those who used to observe fasts? They will get up, and none except them will enter through it. After their entry the gate will be closed and nobody will enter through it. Hadith 7. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever gives 2 kinds of things or property, in charity for Allah's cause, will be called from the gates of paradise and will be addressed, O slaves of Allah. Here is prosperity. So, whoever was amongst the people who used to offer their prayers, will be called from the gate of the prayer, and whoever was amongst the people who used to participate in jihad, will be called from the gate of jihad, and whoever was amongst those who used to observe fasts, will be called from the gate of Ar-Raiyan, whoever was amongst those who used to give in charity, will be called from the gate of charity. Abu Bakr said, "Let my parents be sacrificed for you, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. No distress or need will befall him who will be called from those gates. Will there be anyone who will be called from all these gates?" The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, "Yes, and I hope you will be one of them." Hadith 8. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "When Ramadan begins, the gates of paradise are opened." Hadith 9. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "When the month of Ramadan starts, the gates of the heaven are opened and the gates of hell are closed, and the devils are chained." Hadith 10. Narrated Ibn Umar, I heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, "When you see the crescent of the month of Ramadan, start fasting, and when you see the crescent of the month of Shawwal, stop fasting, and if the sky is overcast, and you can't see it, then regard the month of Ramadan as of 30 days. Hadith 11. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever established prayers on the night of Qadr out of sincere faith and hoping for a reward from Allah, then all his previous sins will be forgiven, and whoever fasts in the month of Ramadan out of sincere faith, and hoping for a reward from Allah, then all his previous sins will be forgiven." Hadith 12. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was the most generous amongst the people, and he used to be more so in the month of Ramadan when Gabriel visited him, and Gabriel used to meet him on every night of Ramadan till the end of the month. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to recite the Holy Quran to Gabriel, and when Gabriel met him, he used to be more generous than a fast wind, which causes rain and welfare. Hadith 13. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever does not give up forged speech and evil actions, Allah is not in need of his leaving his food and drink, that is, Allah will not accept his fasting." Hadith 14. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Allah said, "All the deeds of Adam's sons, people, are for them, except fasting which is for me, and I will give the reward for it." Fasting is a shield or protection from the fire and from committing sins. If one of you is fasting, he should avoid sexual relation with his wife and quarreling, and if somebody should fight or quarrel with him, he should say, "I am fasting. By him in whose hands my soul is, the unpleasant smell coming out from the mouth of a fasting person is better in the sight of Allah than the smell of musk." There are two pleasures for the fasting person, one at the time of breaking his fast, and the other at the time when he will meet his Lord, then he will be pleased because of his fasting. Hadith 15. Narrated Al-Qamah, while I was walking with Abdullāh, he said, we were in the company of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and he said, "He who can afford to marry should marry, because it will help him refrain from looking at other women, and save his private parts from committing illegal sexual relation, and he who cannot afford to marry is advised to fast, as fasting will diminish his sexual power." Hadith 16. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned Ramadan and said, "Do not fast unless you see the crescent of Ramadan, and do not give up fasting till you see the crescent of Shawwal, but if the sky is overcast, if you cannot see it, then act on estimation, that is, count Sha'ban as 30 days. Hadith 17. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "The month can be 29 nights, that is, days, and do not fast till you see the moon, and if the sky is overcast, then complete Sha'ban as 30 days. Hadith 18. Narrated Ibn Umar, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "The month is like this and this." At the same time he showed the fingers of both his hands thrice, and left out one thumb on the third time. Hadith 19. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, or Abul Qasim said, "Start fasting on seeing the crescent of Ramadan, and give up fasting on seeing the crescent of Shawwal, and if the sky is overcast, and you cannot see it, complete 30 days of Sha'ban." Hadith 20. Narrated Salama, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, vowed to keep aloof from his wives for a period of 1 month, and after the completion of 29 days he went either in the morning or in the afternoon to his wives. Someone said to him, "You vowed that you would not go to your wives for 1 month." He replied, "The month is of 29 days. Hadith 21. Narrated Anas, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, vowed to keep aloof from his wives for 1 month, and he had dislocation of his leg. So, he stayed in a mashrubah for 29 nights and then came down. Some people said, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, you vowed to stay aloof for 1 month." He replied, "The month is of 29 days. Hadith 22. Narrated Abu Bakr, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "The 2 months of Eid, that is, Ramadan and Dhul-Hijjah, do not decrease in superiority." Hadith 23. Narrated Ibn Umar, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "We are an illiterate nation, we neither write, nor know accounts. The month is like this and this, that is, sometimes of 29 days and sometimes of 30 days. Hadith 24. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "None of you should fast a day or 2 before the month of Ramadan unless he has the habit of fasting, lawful, and if his fasting coincides with that day, then he can fast that day." Hadith 25. Narrated Al-Bara, it was the custom among the companions of Muhammad that if any of them was fasting and the food was presented, for breaking his fast, but he slept before eating, he would not eat that night and the following day till sunset. Qais bin Surmah al-Ansari was fasting and came to his wife at the time of iftar, breaking one's fast, and asked her whether she had anything to eat. She replied, "No, but I would go and bring some for you." He used to do hard work during the day, so he was overwhelmed by sleep and slept. When his wife came and saw him, she said, "Disappointment for you." When it was midday on the following day, he fainted and the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was informed about the whole matter and the following verses were revealed: "You are permitted to go to your wives, for sexual relation, at the night of fasting." So, they were overjoyed by it. And then Allah also revealed, "And eat and drink until the white thread of dawn appears to you distinct from the black thread of the night." Surah 2, Ayah 187. Hadith 26. Narrated Adi bin Hatim, when the above verses were revealed, "Until the white thread appears to you, distinct from the black thread, I took 2 hair strings, one black and the other white, and kept them under my pillow and went on looking at them throughout the night, but could not make anything out of it. So, the next morning I went to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and told him the whole story. He explained to me, that verse means the darkness of the night and the whiteness of the dawn." Hadith 27. Narrated Sahal bin Sa'ad, when the following verses were revealed, "Eat and drink until the white thread appears to you, distinct from the black thread, and of dawn was not revealed. Some people who intended to fast, tied black and white threads to their legs and went on eating till they differentiated between the two. Allah then revealed the words, of dawn, and it became clear that meant night and day." Hadith 28. Narrated Aisha, Bilal used to pronounce the Adhan at night, so Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Carry on taking your meals, eat and drink, till Ibn Maktum pronounces the Adhan, for he does not pronounce it till it is dawn." Hadith 29. Narrated Sahal bin Sa'ad, I used to take my suhoor meals with my family and then hurry up for presenting myself for the Fajr, prayer with Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Hadith 30. Narrated on us, Zayd bin Thabit said, we took the suhoor with the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Then he stood for the prayer. I asked, what was the interval between the suhoor and the adhan? He replied, the interval was sufficient to recite 50 verses of the Quran. Hadith 31. Narrated Abdullāh, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, fasted for days continuously. The people also did the same, but it was difficult for them. So, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, forbade them to fast continuously for more than one day. They said, but you fast without break. No food was taken in the evening or in the morning. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, I am not like you, for I am provided with food and drink, by Allah. Hadith 32. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, take suhoor, as there is a blessing in it. Hadith 33. Narrated Salamah bin al-Aqwa, once the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered a person on Ashura, the 10th of Muharram, to announce, whoever has eaten, should not eat any more, but fast, and who has not eaten should not eat, but complete his fast, till the end of the day. Hadith 34. Narrated Aisha and Salama, at times, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to get up in the morning in the state of janabah after having sexual relations with his wives. He would then take a bath and fast. Hadith 35. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to kiss and embrace his wives while he was fasting, and he had more power to control his desires than any of you. Said Jabir, the person who gets discharge after casting a look on his wife should complete his fast. Hadith 36. Narrated Hisham's father, Aisha said, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to kiss some of his wives while he was fasting, and then she smiled. Hadith 37. Narrated Zainab, daughter of Salama, that her mother said, while I was lying with Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, underneath a woolen sheet, I got the menstruation, and then slipped away and put on the clothes, which I used to wear, in menses. He asked, what is the matter? Did you get your menses? I replied in the affirmative and then entered underneath that woolen sheet. I and Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to take a bath from one water pot, and he used to kiss me while he was fasting. Hadith 38. Narrated Aisha, at times, in Ramadan the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to take a bath in the morning, not because of a wet dream, and would continue his fast. Hadith 39. Narrated Abu Bakr bin Abdurrahman, my father and I went to Aisha and she said, I testify that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, at times used to get up in the morning in a state of janabah from sexual intercourse, not from a wet dream, and then he would fast that day. Then he went to Salama and she also narrated a similar thing. Hadith 40. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if somebody eats or drinks forgetfully then he should complete his fast, for what he has eaten or drunk, has been given to him by Allah. Hadith 41. Narrated Humran, I saw Uthman performing ablution, he washed his hands thrice, rinsed his mouth and then washed his nose, by putting water in it and then blowing it out, and washed his face thrice, and then washed his right forearm up to the elbow thrice, and then the left forearm up to the elbow thrice, then smeared his head with water, washed his right foot thrice, and then his left foot thrice, and said, I saw Allah's Apostle performing ablution similar to my present ablution, and then he said, whoever performs ablution like my present ablution and then offers 2 rakat in which he does not think of worldly things, all his previous sins will be forgiven. Hadith 42. Narrated Aisha, a man came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said that he had been burnt, ruined. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him what was the matter. He replied, I had sexual intercourse with my wife in Ramadan, while I was fasting. Then a basket full of dates was brought to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and he asked, Where is the burnt, ruined, man? He replied, I am present. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, told him to give that basket in charity, as expiation. Hadith 43. Narrated Abu Hurairah, while we were sitting with the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, a man came and said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. I have been ruined. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, asked what was the matter with him. He replied, I had sexual intercourse with my wife while I was fasting. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him, Can you afford to manumit a slave? He replied in the negative. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him, Can you fast for 2 successive months? He replied in the negative. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him, Can you afford to feed 60 poor persons? He replied in the negative. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, kept silent, and while we were in that state, a big basket full of dates was brought to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. He asked, Where is the questioner? He replied, I am here. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, Take this basket of dates, and give it in charity. The man said, Should I give it to a person poorer than I? By Allah, there is no family between its, that is, Madina's, 2 mountains who are poorer than I. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, smiled till his premolar teeth became visible and then said, Feed your family with it. Hadith 44. Narrated Abu Hurairah, a man came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, I had sexual intercourse with my wife on Ramadan, while fasting. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him, Can you afford to manumit a slave? He replied in the negative. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him, Can you fast for 2 successive months? He replied in the negative. He asked him, Can you afford to feed 60 poor persons? He replied in the negative. Abu Hurairah added, Then a basket full of dates was brought to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and he said, To that man, Feed poor people with this by way of atonement. He said, Should I feed it to poorer people than we? There is no poorer house than ours between its, Madina's, mountains. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Then feed your family with it. Hadith 45. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was cupped while he was in the state of Ihram, and also while he was observing a fast. Hadith 46. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was cupped while he was fasting. Hadith 47. Narrated Thabit al-Bunani, Anas bin Malik was asked whether they disliked the cupping for a fasting person. He replied in the negative and said, Only if it causes weakness. Hadith 48. Narrated Ibn Abi Awfa, we were in the company of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, on a journey. He said to a man, Get down and mix sawiq, powdered barley, with water for me. The man said, The sun has not set yet, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, again said to him, Get down and mix sawiq with water for me. The man again said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. The sun. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, for the 3rd time, Get down and mix sawiq with water for me. The man dismounted and mixed sawiq with water for him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, drank it and then beckoned with his hand, towards the east, and said, When you see the night falling from this side, then a fasting person should break his fast. Hadith 49. Narrated Aisha, Hamza bin Amr al-Aslami said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, I fast continuously. Hadith 50. Narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, Hamza bin Amr al-Aslami asked the Prophet, should I fast while traveling? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, you may fast if you wish, and you may not fast if you wish. Hadith 51. Narrated Ibn Abbas, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, set out for Makkah in Ramadan and he fasted, and when he reached Al-Qadid, he broke his fast and the people, with him, broke their fast too. Abu Abdullah said, Al-Qadid is a land covered with water between Usfan and Qudayd. Hadith 52. Narrated Abu ad-Darda, we set out with Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, on one of his journeys on a very hot day, and it was so hot that one had to put his hand over his head because of the severity of heat. None of us was fasting except the Prophet and Ibn Rawaha. Hadith 53. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was on a journey and saw a crowd of people, and a man was being shaded by them. He asked, what is the matter? They said, he, the man, is fasting. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, it is not righteousness that you fast on a journey. Hadith 54. Narrated Anas bin Malik, we used to travel with the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and neither did the fasting persons criticize those who were not fasting, nor did those who were not fasting criticize the fasting ones. Hadith 55. Narrated Tawus, Ibn Abbas said, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, set out from Medina to Makkah and he fasted till he reached Usfan, where he asked for water and raised his hand to let the people see him, and then broke the fast, and did not fast after that till he reached Makkah, and that happened in Ramadan. Ibn Abbas used to say, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, sometimes fasted and, sometimes, did not fast during the journeys, so whoever wished to fast could fast, and whoever wished not to fast, could do so. Hadith 56. Narrated Nafi, Ibn Umar recited the verse, they had a choice either to fast or to feed a poor person for every day, and said that the order of this verse was cancelled. Hadith 57. Narrated Aisha, sometimes I missed some days of Ramadan, but could not fast in lieu of them except in the month of Sha'ban. Said Yahya, a sub-narrator, she used to be busy serving the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Hadith 58. Narrated Abu Sa'id, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, isn't it true that a woman does not pray and does not fast on menstruating? And that is the defect, a loss, in her religion. Hadith 59. Narrated Aisha, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever died and he ought to have fasted, the missed days of Ramadan, then his guardians must fast on his behalf. Hadith 60. Narrated Ibn Abbas, a man came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. My mother died and she ought to have fasted 1 month, for her missed Ramadan. Shall I fast on her behalf? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied in the affirmative and said, Allah's debts have more right to be paid. In another narration a woman is reported to have said, my sister died. Narrated Ibn Abbas, a woman said to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, my mother died and she had vowed to fast, but she didn't fast. In another narration Ibn Abbas is reported to have said, a woman said to the Prophet, my mother died while she ought to have fasted for 15 days. Hadith 61. Narrated Umar bin al-Khattab, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, when night falls from this side and the day vanishes from this side and the sun sets, then the fasting person should break his fast. Hadith 62. Narrated Abdullāh bin Abi Awfa, we were in the company of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, on a journey and he was fasting, and when the sun set, he addressed somebody, O so-and-so, get up and mix sawik with water for us. He replied, O Allah's Apostle, will you wait till it is evening? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, get down and mix sawik with water for us. He replied, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, if you wait till it is evening. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said again, get down and mix sawik with water for us. He replied, it is still daytime. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said again, get down and mix sawik with water for us. He got down and mixed sawik for them. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, drank it and then said, when you see night falling from this side, the fasting person should break his fast. Hadith 63. Narrated Abdullāh bin Abi Awfa, we were traveling with Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and he was fasting, and when the sun set, he said to someone, get down and mix sawik with water for us. He replied, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, will you wait till it is evening? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, again said, get down and mix sawik with water for us. He replied, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, it is still daytime. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said again, get down and mix sawik with water for us. So, he got down and carried out that order. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then said, when you see night falling from this side, the fasting person should break his fast, and he beckoned with his finger towards the east. Hadith 64. Narrated Sahal bin Sa'd, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the people will remain on the right path as long as they hasten the breaking of the fast. Hadith 65. Narrated Ibn Abi Awfa, I was with the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, on a journey, and he observed the fast till evening. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to a man, get down and mix sawik with water for me. He replied, will you wait till it is evening? The Prophet said, get down and mix sawik with water for me, when you see night falling from this side, the fasting person should break his fast. Hadith 66. Narrated Abu Usama from Hisham bin Urwa from Fatima, Asmā bint Abi Bakr said, we broke our fast during the lifetime of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, on a cloudy day and then the sun appeared. Hisham was asked, were they ordered to fast in lieu of that day? He replied, it had to be made up for. Ma'mar said, I heard Hisham saying, I don't know whether they fasted in lieu of that day or not. Hadith 67. Narrated Ar-Raiyan bint Muawwid, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, sent a messenger to the village of the Ansar in the morning of the day of Ashura, 10th of Muharram, to announce, whoever has eaten something should not eat but complete the fast, and whoever is observing the fast should complete it. She further said, since then we used to fast on that day regularly and also make our boys fast. We used to make toys of wool for the boys, and if any one of them cried for food, he was given those toys till it was the time of the breaking of the fast. Hadith 68. Narrated Anas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, do not practice al-Wisal, fasting continuously without breaking one's fast in the evening or eating before the following dawn. The people said to the Prophet, but you practice al-Wisal? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, I am not like any of you, for I am given food and drink, by Allah, during the night. Hadith 69. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, forbade al-Wisal. The people said to him, but you practice it? He said, I am not like you, for I am given food and drink by Allah. Hadith 70. Narrated Abu Sa'id, that he had heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, do not fast continuously, practice al-Wisal, and if you intend to lengthen your fast, then carry it on only till the suhoor, before the following dawn. The people said to him, but you practice al-Wisal, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. He replied, I am not similar to you, for during my sleep I have one who makes me eat and drink. Hadīth 71. Narrated Aisha, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, forbade al-Wisal out of mercy to them. They said to him, but you practice al-Wisal? He said, I am not similar to you, for my Lord gives me food and drink. Hadīth 72. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, forbade al-Wisal in fasting. So, one of the Muslims said to him, but you practice al-Wisal, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, who amongst you is similar to me? I am given food and drink during my sleep by my Lord. So, when the people refused to stop al-Wisal, fasting continuously, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, fasted day and night continuously along with them for a day, and then another day, and then they saw the crescent moon, of the month of Shawwal. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to them angrily, if it, the crescent, had not appeared, I would have made you fast for a longer period. That was as a punishment for them when they refused to stop practicing al-Wisal. Hadīth 73. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said twice, O you people, be cautious. Do not practice al-Wisal. The people said to him, but you practice al-Wisal? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, my Lord gives me food and drink during my sleep. Do that much of deeds which is within your ability. Hadīth 74. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, do not fast continuously day and night, practice al-Wisal, and if any one of you intends to fast continuously day and night, he should continue till the suhoor time. They said, but you practice al-Wisal, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I am not similar to you. During my sleep I have one who makes me eat and drink. Hadīth 75. Narrated Abu Juhayfa, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, made a bond of brotherhood between Salman and Abu ad-Darda. Salman paid a visit to Abu ad-Darda and found ad-Darda dressed in shabby clothes, and asked her why she was in that state. She replied, your brother Abu ad-Darda is not interested in the luxuries of this world. In the meantime Abu ad-Darda came and prepared a meal for Salman. Salman requested Abu ad-Darda to eat with him, but Abu ad-Darda said, I am fasting. Salman said, I am not going to eat unless you eat. So, Abu ad-Darda ate with Salman. When it was night and a part of the night passed, Abu ad-Darda got up to offer the night prayer, but Salman told him to sleep and Abu ad-Darda slept. After some time Abu ad-Darda again got up, but Salman told him to sleep. When it was the last hours of the night, Salman told him to get up then, and both of them offered the prayer. Salman told Abu ad-Darda, your Lord has a right on you, your soul has a right on you, and your family has a right on you, so you should give the rights of all those who have a right on you. Abu ad-Darda came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and narrated the whole story. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Salman has spoken the truth. Hadīth 76. Narrated Aisha, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to fast till one would say that he would never stop fasting, and he would abandon fasting till one would say that he would never fast. I never saw Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, fasting for a whole month except the month of Ramadan, and did not see him fasting in any month more than in the month of Sha'ban. Hadīth 77. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, never fasted in any month more than in the month of Sha'ban. He used to say, do those deeds which you can do easily, as Allah will not get tired of giving rewards, till you get bored and tired of performing religious deeds. The most beloved prayer to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was the one that was done regularly, throughout the life, even if it were little. And whenever the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, offered a prayer, he used to offer it regularly. Hadith 78. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, never fasted a full month except the month of Ramadan, and he used to fast till one could say, by Allah, he will never stop fasting, and he would abandon fasting till one would say, by Allah, he will never fast. Hadith 79. Narrated Anas, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to leave fasting in a certain month till we thought that he would not fast in that month, and he used to fast in another month till we thought he would not stop fasting at all in that month. And if one wanted to see him praying at night, one could see him, in that condition, and if one wanted to see him sleeping at night, one could see him, in that condition, too. Hadith 80. Narrated Humayd, I asked Anas about the fasting of the Prophet. He said, whenever I liked to see the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, fasting in any month, I could see that, and whenever I liked to see him not fasting, I could see that too, and if I liked to see him praying in any night, I could see that, and if I liked to see him sleeping, I could see that too. Anas further said, I never touched silk or velvet softer than the hand of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and never smelled musk or perfumed smoke more pleasant than the smell of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Hadith 81. Narrated Abdullāh bin Amr bin al-As, once Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, came to me, and then he narrated the whole narration, that is, your guest has a right on you, and your wife has a right on you. I then asked about the fasting of David. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, half of the year, that is, he used to fast on every alternate day. Hadith 82. Narrated Abdullāh bin Amr bin al-As, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said to me, O Abdullāh, have I not been informed that you fast during the day and offer prayers all the night? Abdullāh replied, yes, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, don't do that, fast for few days and then give it up for few days, offer prayers, and also sleep at night, as your body has a right on you, and your wife has a right on you, and your guest has a right on you. And it is sufficient for you to fast 3 days in a month, as the reward of a good deed is multiplied 10 times, so it will be like fasting throughout the year. I insisted on fasting, and so I was given a hard instruction. I said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, I have power. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, fast like the fasting of the Prophet David, peace and blessings be upon him, and do not fast more than that. I said, how was the fasting of the Prophet of Allah, David, peace and blessings be upon him? He said, half of the year, that is, he used to fast on every alternate day. Afterwards, when Abdullāh became old, he used to say, it would have been better for me if I had accepted the permission of the Prophet, which he gave me, that is, to fast only 3 days a month. Hadith 83. Narrated Abdullāh bin Amr, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was informed that I had taken an oath to fast daily and to pray, every night, all the night throughout my life, so Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, came to me and asked whether it was correct. I replied, let my parents be sacrificed for you. I said so. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, you cannot do that. So, fast for few days and give it up for few days, offer salat, prayer, and sleep. Fast 3 days a month, as the reward of good deeds is multiplied 10 times, and that will be equal to 1 year of fasting. I replied, I can do better than that. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to me, fast 1 day and give up fasting for 2 days. I replied, I can do better than that. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to me, fast one day and give up fasting for a day, and that is the fasting of Prophet David, and that is the best fasting. I said, I have the power to fast better, more, than that. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is no better fasting than that. Hadith 84. Narrated Abdullāh bin Amr, the news of my daily fasting and praying every night throughout the night reached the Prophet. So he sent for me, or I met him, and he said, I have been informed that you fast every day and pray every night, all the night. Fast, for some days, and give up fasting, for some days, pray and sleep, for your eyes have a right on you, and your body and your family, that is, wife, have a right on you. I replied, I have more power than that, fasting. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, then fast like the fasts of the Prophet David. I said, how? He replied, he used to fast on alternate days, and he used not to flee on meeting the enemy. I said, from where can I get that chance? Atā said, I do not know how the expression of fasting daily throughout the life occurred. So, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, twice, whoever fasts daily throughout his life is just as the one who does not fast at all. Hadith 85. Narrated Mujahid from Abdullāh bin Amr, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, to Abdullāh, fast 3 days a month. Abdullāh said, to the Prophet, I am able to fast more than that. They kept on arguing on this matter till the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, fast on alternate days, and recite the whole Quran once a month. Abdullāh said, I can recite more, in a month, and the argument went on till the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, recite the Quran once each 3 days. That is, you must not recite the whole Quran in less than 3 days. Hadith 86. Narrated Abdullāh bin Amr bin al-As, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to me, you fast daily all the year and pray every night all the night? I replied in the affirmative. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if you keep on doing this, your eyes will become weak and your body will get tired. He who fasts all the year is as he who did not fast at all. The fasting of 3 days, a month, will be equal to the fasting of the whole year. I replied, I have the power for more than this. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, then fast like the fasting of David who used to fast on alternate days, and would never flee from the battlefield on meeting the enemy. Hadith 87. Narrated Abdullāh bin Amr, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was informed about my fasts, and he came to me, and I spread for him a leather cushion stuffed with palm fibers, but he sat on the ground and the cushion remained between me and him, and then he said, isn't it sufficient for you to fast 3 days a month? I replied, O Allah's Apostle, I can fast more. He said, 5. I replied, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, I can fast more. He said, 7. I replied, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, I can fast more. He said, 9 days per month. I replied, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, I can fast more. He said, 11 days per month. And then the Prophet said, there is no fast superior to that of the Prophet David, peace and blessings be upon him, it was for half of the year. So, fast on alternate days. Hadith 88. Narrated Abu Hurairah, my friend, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, advised me to observe 3 things, 1. To fast 3 days a month, 2. To pray 2 rakat of duha prayer, forenoon prayer, and 3. To pray witr before sleeping. Hadith 89. Narrated Anas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, paid a visit to Sulaym and she placed before him dates and ghee. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, replace the ghee and dates in their respective containers for I am fasting. Then he stood somewhere in her house and offered an optional prayer, and then he invoked good on Sulaym and her family. Then Sulaym said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. I have a special request, today. He said, What is it? She replied, Please invoke for your servant on us. So Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, did not leave anything good in the world or the hereafter which he did not invoke Allah to bestow on me, and said, O Allah, give him, that is, on us, property and children, and bless him. Thus I am one of the richest among the Ansar, and my daughter Umaynah told me that when Al-Hajjaj came to Basra, more than 120 of my offspring had been buried. Hadith 90. Narrated Mutarrif from Imran ibn Husayn, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him, Imran, or asked a man, and Imran was listening, O Abu So-and-so, have you fasted the last days of this month? The narrator thought that he said, the month of Ramadan. The man replied, No, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, when you finish your fasting of Ramadan, fast 2 days, in Shawwal. Through another series of narrators Imran said, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, have you fasted the last days of Sha'ban? Hadith 91. Narrated Muhammad bin Abbas, I asked Jabir, did the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, forbid fasting on Fridays? He replied, yes. Other narrators added, if he intends to fast only that day. Hadith 92. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, none of you should fast on Friday unless he fasts a day before or after it. Hadith 93. Narrated Abu Ayyub from Juwayriyah bint al-Harith, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, visited her, Juwayriyah, on a Friday and she was fasting. He asked her, did you fast yesterday? She said, no. He said, do you intend to fast tomorrow? She said, no. He said, then break your fast. Through another series of narrators, Abu Ayyub is reported to have said, he ordered her and she broke her fast. Hadith 94. Narrated Ulqamah, I asked Aisha, did Allah's Apostle used to choose some special days for fasting? She replied, no, but he used to be regular, constant, in his service of worshipping. Who amongst you can endure what Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to endure? Hadith 95. Narrated al-Fadl bint al-Harith, while the people were with me on the day of Arafat, they differed as to whether the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was fasting or not. Some said that he was fasting while others said that he was not fasting. So, I sent to him a bowl full of milk while he was riding over his camel, and he drank it. Hadith 96. Narrated Maymuna, the people doubted whether the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was fasting on the day of Arafat or not, so I sent milk while he was standing at Arafat, he drank it and the people were looking at him. Hadith 97. Narrated Abu Ubaid, the slave of Ibn Azhar, I witnessed the Eid with Umar bin al-Khattab who said, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, has forbidden people to fast on the day on which you break fasting, the fasts of Ramadan, and the day on which you eat the meat of your sacrifices, the first day of Eid-ul-Fitr and Eid-ul-Adha. Hadith 98. Narrated Abu Sa'id, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, forbade the fasting of Eid-ul-Fitr and Eid-ul-Adha, 2 feast days, and also the wearing of As-Saum, a single garment covering the whole body, and sitting with one's leg drawn up while being wrapped in one garment. He also forbade the prayers after the Fajr, morning, and the Asr, afternoon, prayers. Hadith 99. Narrated Abu Hurairah, 2 fasts and 2 kinds of sale are forbidden, fasting on the day of Eid-ul-Fitr and Eid-ul-Adha and the kinds of sale called Mulamasa and Manabada. These two kinds of sale used to be practiced in the days of pre-Islamic period of ignorance. Mulamasa means when you touch something displayed for sale you have to buy it. Munabada means when the seller throws something to you, you have to buy it. Hadith 100. Narrated Ziyad bin Jubayr, a man went to Ibn Umar and said, a man vowed to fast one day. The sub-narrator thinks that he said that the day was Monday, and that day happened to be Eid day. Ibn Umar said, Allah orders vows to be fulfilled and the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, forbade the fasting on this day, that is, Eid. Hadith 101. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, who fought in 12 Ghazawat in the company of the Prophet, I heard 4 things from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and they won my admiration. He said, 1. No lady should travel on a journey of 2 days except with her husband or ad mahram. 2. No fasting is permissible on the 2 days of Eid-ul-Fitr and Eid-ul-Adha. 3. No prayer may be offered after the morning compulsory prayer until the sun rises, and no prayer after the Asr prayer till the sun sets. 4. One should travel only for visiting 3 mosques, Masjid al-Haram, Makkah, Masjid al-Aqsa, Jerusalem, and this, my mosque, at Medina. Hadith 102. Narrated Yahya, Hisham said, my father said that Aisha used to observe Saum, fast, on the days of Mina. His, that is, Hisham's, father also used to observe Saum on those days. Hadith 103. Narrated Aisha and Ibn Umar, nobody was allowed to fast on the days of Tashriq except those who could not afford the hadi, sacrifice. Hadith 104. Narrated Ibn Umar, fasting for those who perform Hajj at-Tamattu'a, in lieu of the hadi which they cannot afford, may be performed up to the day of Arafat. And if one does not get a hadi and has not fasted, before the Eid, then one should fast of the days of Mina, 11th, 12th and 13th of Dhul-Hijjah. Hadith 105. Narrated Salam's father, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever wishes may fast on the day of Ashura. Hadith 106. Narrated Aisha, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered the Muslims to fast on the day of Ashura, and when fasting in the month of Ramadan was prescribed, it became optional for one to fast on that day, Ashura, or not. Hadith 107. Narrated Aisha, Quraysh used to fast on the day of Ashura in the pre-Islamic period, and Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, too, used to fast on that day. When he came to Medina, he fasted on that day and ordered others to fast too. Later, when the fasting of the month of Ramadan was prescribed, he gave up fasting on the day of Ashura, and it became optional for one to fast on it or not. Hadith 108. Narrated Humayd bin Abdurrahman, that he heard Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan on the day of Ashura during the year he performed the Hajj, saying on the pulpit, O the people of Medina! Where are your religious scholars? I heard Allah's apostle saying, this is the day of Ashura. Allah has not enjoined its fasting on you but I am fasting it. You have the choice either to fast or not to fast, on this day. Hadith 109. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, came to Medina and saw the Jews fasting on the day of Ashura. He asked them about that. They replied, this is a good day, the day on which Allah rescued Bani Israel from their enemy. So, Moses fasted this day. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, we have more claim over Moses than you. So, the Prophet fasted on that day and ordered the Muslims to fast on that day. Hadith 110. Narrated Abu Musa, the day of Ashura was considered as Eid day by the Jews. So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered, I recommend you, Muslims, to fast on this day. Hadith 111. Narrated Ibn Abbas, I never saw the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, seeking to fast on a day that he favored more than another except this day, the day of Ashura, and this month, meaning the month of Ramadan. Hadith 112. Narrated Salamah bin al-Aqwa, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered a man from the tribe of Bani Aslam to announce amongst the people that whoever had eaten should fast the rest of the day, and whoever had not eaten should continue his fast, as that day was the day of Ashura.